The following announcement has been paid for by Lane Vision.
Yo, it's Mr. Lane, and I'm back again, and here we are. So what I want you to do is I want you to get your simulator loaded up, and this is directly after video 3. So get that loaded up, and we are going to rotate left and rotate left again. So basically what's happening here is what we didn't test the software keyboard. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to click that and enable it, and then you are actually going to have to click each area. So we're going to go back to me and the dog, and notice that when you press return in either of these boxes, the keyboard doesn't disappear. And if I click the return button on your actual laptop keyboard, it disappears. And you can see how this might be a problem when you load this onto an iPhone or an iPad. You pretty much, unless you have a portable keyboard, this is kind of your only option. And that's not very useful when you're out kind of showing off your app, whether you're at school or whatever. So we need to actually code that in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and quit the simulator, and we're going to come into where we find the override function view did load. So now we're going to start adding some things, and now these are things that you've never seen and things that I've never seen up until when I made this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to take both our text fields, and so you're going to find them. So text field.1, and we are going to say text field 1 dot delegate, okay, and then we're going to put an equal sign after it, and it's going to equal self, okay, and we're going to do the same thing for text field 2 dot delegate, and then we're going to have it equal self. And if you're curious about what anything means here, you can click the option button and you can get a question mark. You can kind of hover over and see, so no quick help, so we don't, because it's not activated. And this is a text field declared in the controller.swift. So basically what we're doing is we're putting this in here so we can kind of access it in other parts of the class. Okay, so self is recognizing this as class. All right. Now you don't need to know too much about that. That's not the point. But the point is you have a couple errors here, and what we're going to do now is we need to add a second thing up here, and this is going to be called the UI text field delegate. Okay. Now this one, I want you to actually hold option and kind of go over it and kind of look at what Apple says about this. So a set of optional methods that can you use to manage the editing and validation of text in a text field object. So if we look down here, validate text that was typed by the user to respond to specific interactions with the keyboard and to control the overall editing process. So kind of big. As far as using text fields, and if you don't know, you don't know. And I found this from a video. I just searched online how to make the keyboard disappear when you hit the return button. So it kind of gives you a whole bunch of information, so you can read this kind of as you go. You can also open it in developer documentation, which will actually take you to the documentation, and then you can kind of find out. And guys, this is the real key when you're doing this on your own. Is to watch a couple videos, figure it out, and then go to everything in this kind of area, okay? Like, you're gonna see all kinds of good information that tells you about what each thing does. So the way my understanding of this is that Apple doesn't know what people are going to do with the keyboard, so they kind of leave it and let the user code that in. So it's a lot more complicated than you would think. Okay, but in between all that, you still have to deal with getting this to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of delete a little. If you have extra space here, if you did it exactly like I did, you're going to delete the space. You're going to need to go outside this bracket, so make sure that you're in between your function and this bracket. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create a function, and this is going to be called hide keyboard. How do we set up our function? What's the next thing? The error showed up. Told you. Okay. And what we're just going to do is we are going to take both our text fields, so text field 1 and text field 2, and we are going to look up this thing called assign first responder. Now, once again, if you're curious, click on it and take a look at what it says. Okay. Notifies that this object that it has been asked to relinquish its status as first responder in its window. So basically, when the keyboard's up, it's the first responder, and we are going to allow this to become, eventually in another part, we're going to make this become true, but we're just going to set this up, and we're going to set this up as text field 2, and we do the same thing. Okay, so then below that, we're going to set up another function, and this function, whoops, I did not want to set all that up. So this function is going to be called text field, and then we're going to look for should return, and it's top option. Okay, and inside this, we're going to do two things. We're going to run that function inside here to get those resign first responders to run. And when everything is said and done, we're going to return this whole thing true. Okay. And basically what that means is, since this is taking a bool, and we're asking this to relinquish the control of the keyboard, we want that to be true because we want that to happen. Okay. And then what we should do is we should go back and we should play it and we should give it a test. And remember, we got to go here. We got to go down here to keyboard, toggle software keyboard. Oops, I actually toggled it off by accident. All right. Always got to do me and the dog. And if we click return, it's gone. Boom. The other one, boom. Okay. Then, now on your phone, the keyboard will return, and all is good. Okay, so I hope you guys learned a little bit about, how to get these text fields to work, and understand that literally everything needs to be coded. Okay, it's a good lesson when you're looking at actually creating kind of your own app coming up here at the end of the course. What can you do to get this to work? And what I mean by end of the course is if you're in 8th grade. If you're in 7th grade, you're done. If you're done super early, come see me and we'll get you something else to do. Okay? So have a good one. Peace out.